Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. And much like I mentioned in yesterday's video where I was talking about the latest round of IMSA, I'm going to talk about the most recent round of Super GT, one that did happen about 3 weeks ago. But whilst I did watch it once the Japanese full race replay was released, I haven't had a chance to properly sit down and talk about it, and I do apologise for the fact that there's Fuji in the background. I also haven't had the time to sit down and record a couple of laps around Suzuka in a Assetto Corsa with the class GT500, GT300 cars. But either way, the race itself was fun to watch. I do end up watching the Japanese full race replays on between 2 and 4 times speed. It's just because of my lack of understanding of the Japanese language, whilst you can still see a lot of the action that goes into the broadcast at these higher speeds. It meant that the 300-kilometer race, which took, 1 hour 47 minutes, well, I did end up jumping around, and some bits I paused, some bits I went back through, some bits I slowed down for. I think I probably watched it overall in about 45 minutes. It meant that I also then didn't miss out on too much. So, for example, some of the things that stood out for me were the fact that we ended up with the Honda up at the front early on, the Arta car, and then it just faded later on as the race just continued to progress. It was nice to see that Toyota finally didn't win around this season. I do like seeing dominant runs, but I also do like having variety, especially when it comes to a series that I'm properly following for the first time, that I'm properly watching for the first time. I can kind of understand why more casual fans switch off from a sport when you see the same people winning every single week. But yeah, it was a Nismo win from a TGR in second, and then 2 Nismos on the podium. In fact, there are only 2 Toyotas in the top 5. And in the top 4 is only 1. It was Nissan, Toyota, Nissan, and then the lead Arta car, the Otsu Rensato entry. So, yeah, it was good to be able to have this kind of storyline, to be able to have these kinds of different narratives to be following for it as well. Because you don't always get that chance when you're watching Super GT. I mean, the last couple of rounds I've been watching, I've been talking more about the GT300, which was still an interesting race. Yes, there were 2 Ferraris in the top 5, and yes, the Good Smile car was yet again in the top 5. It just seems relentlessly consistent. But the podium was the Ferrari, and then 2 of the made-for GT300 cars, 2 Toy Barus, the BRZ of R&D from the T-Mark 86. And you also had Yokohama Dunlop Yokohama. The lead Bridgestone was in 6th place, and that was the Supra of Saitama Green Brave. I mean, when we talk about the tyres, it's not something we talk about so much in the GT500, but the lead non-Bridgestone was 7th place as the Modulo Nakajima Honda Civic. But what it does mean is it means that you end up with a bunch of different things that you can talk about when it comes to the championship standings. So yeah, the TGR Timo Toms with Yamashita and Savoy is still leading despite getting 9th place here. It's got 10 points over the next one, which is Fukushima Yoshima, the Ineos rookie. The top 4 in the standings are still TGR. Because then it's the Oyu Ishiura one on 43, then it's Sasahara LSC who, well, they finished 12th this time around, but they're still on 37.5 points, ahead of Shio and Takaboshi, who were the lead non-TGR cars. Unsurprisingly, it's a Nismo car that just won. They are tied with TGR Team Sard of Sakiguchi and Fenestras. Goes on countback, right? Because of the fact that the Nismo car has won a race, whereas TGR Team Sard has not. Meanwhile, it is the Leon Racing still leading in GT300. They are 8 points clear of D-Station Racing, who were class 24th, 3 laps down, I think it was, on the lead in GT300. Yet again, they get a puncher. Yet again, it's a 24th place finish, which is what they had at the start of the season in Okayama. But it's a bit more like some of the heartbreak you've seen elsewhere. Take the first Fuji weekend, for example. They're just ahead of the Hyperwater Racing, and then it's 2 cars that miss Sepang, the Good Smile and the Car Guy MKS. So what it means is, with 3 rounds left, the 3 rounds being the one at Sugo, which is coming up next weekend as of me recording this, and then the Autopolis and Motegi rounds, which is going to be great. 3 different venues, 3 that I haven't watched GT racing at. It'll be great to see how it pans out, especially because with these ones I have seen Super Formula at them now. So I'll be fascinated to see how it pans out, the difference between the racing with these tracks for Super Formula and for Super GT, because it's my first time watching racing at Sugo Autopolis, and it will be one of my first times properly watching races in Motegi. I mean, I have watched the Super Formula earlier this year, but most races that I've seen at Motegi were either, the IndyCar ones on the oval, or they were MotoGP, actually. Which seems strange. Seems strange given the amount of hours I've put into it through various simulators over the years. But either way, thank you so much for watching and joining, folks. And as always, until next time, it's bye for now.